Signs he only wants to hook up. In this video, I'm going to reveal how to know if a guy just wants sex and not a relationship. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. So I get a lot of questions about this, and I think it's really important. I mean, it's a terrible feeling when you really like a guy and you sense that he only likes you for one thing. Usually the messages he's sending are more clear than you'd like to admit, but you're just seeing what you want to see. I'm sure he's letting you know that he basically only likes to hook up and doesn't want a relationship, but you just don't want to admit it. So you're kind of looking for other explanations for his behavior, and maybe that's how you landed here to hang out with me. You want a dose of objectivity, and I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to tell you exactly how to know if a guy only sees you as a hookup. So make sure you watch this video all the way until the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please give it a like. That is a super quick, super easy way to help me out and help me grow my channel. And make sure to subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified whenever I post new content. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at A New Mode. Also, if you truly want to know what inspires a man to commit and see you as way more than just a hookup, then you should definitely check out our Make Him Want You Bad system. I created it with Eric Charles, my partner on A New Mode. And in it, we talk about exactly what makes a guy not only want you, but want to be with you. Basically, what makes a woman the one in a man's eyes. You can download it right now or when you're done with this video at makehimcraveyou.com. Okay, onward. Let's talk about the signs that he just wants to hook up with you. Number one, he's wishy-washy. He can be super into you, super hot and heavy for a few days, and then he disappears and you don't hear one peep out of him. But then he reemerges. Maybe at 11 o'clock at night, he texts you the classic, "You up?" If a guy is doing this, then it's possible he's just going out looking for other girls and that's why he disappears and he doesn't find anyone, and then he comes back to you. He pops up back in your life. Or maybe he just doesn't want to give you the wrong impression. He thinks, oh, if we hang out too much and too consistently, she might think that I'm her boyfriend, so he pulls back, does his own thing, then he gets bored, maybe gets horny, maybe he gets lonely, then you hear from him again, and on the cycle goes. You feel really confused because you're like, when we're together, it's amazing. Like, we have great chemistry, we really enjoy each other, he seems to really like me, but then he disappears, so I don't understand what's going on. I mean, usually the simplest explanation is the correct explanation, and if he's going in and out like this, it's just a sign that he's not serious about you, but he does enjoy hooking up with you. That's why he keeps coming back. One thing I talk about a lot, and if you've watched my videos on how to know if a guy likes you or read my articles, is that basically one of the number one ways to know that a guy likes you is he is consistent. He is consistently there. He consistently calls, he consistently texts, he consistently wants to see you. When a guy's inconsistent, it usually means that maybe he likes you, but he doesn't like you enough. Number two, he's more into your looks than anything else. Ask yourself, what does this guy like about you aside from what you look like? Does he compliment anything about your personality, about your intelligence, about anything aside from your physical attributes? If a guy just sees you as a hookup, then that's what he's going to be focused on. He's going to be focused on the externals, on the physical side, not the emotional, the intellectual, or the spiritual side of who you are. Number three, he doesn't take you out on dates. I'm just going to be brutally honest here because I think that that's more helpful to you. You don't need me sugarcoating things for you the way your girlfriends do. So let's be honest here. If a guy isn't serious about you, he's just not going to want to spend money on you because he doesn't want to make that investment, because he's not emotionally investing, so he doesn't want to make that physical, monetary investment on you. Also, if he just sees you as a hookup, he's gonna wanna hang out with you places where it's possible to hook up. And that's not really possible in a crowded restaurant unless you're very voyeuristic. But most likely he's gonna wanna hang out with you somewhere private, somewhere you can be alone, and preferably somewhere with a bed so you can get busy. Number four, he tells you he doesn't wanna be in a relationship. Now, we talk about this topic a lot, but it's an important one, so it's just gonna keep coming up over and over again until I stop getting questions about it, which is probably gonna be never. Now look, this can mean a few things. Either it means he does not want a relationship with anyone right now. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if you're a supermodel, he doesn't want a relationship with anyone right now. Or it could mean he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. Either way, the reasons don't matter, the facts do. It doesn't matter if he doesn't want to be in a relationship with anyone. Doesn't matter if he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. He just doesn't want to be in a relationship. So that's it. That's all the information that you need to know. But you're confused because he keeps popping up. You keep hearing from him. He keeps texting you. He keeps showing up at your door in the middle of the night or whatever. The funny thing here is that it's so not confusing, but women make it so confusing. Because when a guy says he doesn't want to be in a relationship, he means it. But the woman just kind of takes it as an opening offer that's up for negotiation. Like, that's what he says, but wait until he sees how smart and how funny and how amazing I am and how good I am at cooking and baking and whatever it is. Then he'll change his mind. This is where people get stuck. And then this is where the situation turns into the woman feeling like all men are jerks and men are just using you and men are just out for sex, because maybe that is, the extent of her relationship with him. But really, he was honest from the beginning. So if you choose to stay in the situation, you can't really blame him for that, because he was upfront about it from the beginning. He doesn't want a relationship. You know that. If he calls you and wants to hang out and hook up and you agree, then you can't really blame him for using you for sex, because you had all the information right in front of you. Also, don't delude yourself into thinking that hooking up with him means anything about his feelings for you, because men can keep sex and relationships completely separate. Just because he likes hooking up with you does not necessarily mean that he likes you or wants to be in a relationship with you. I really hope I'm not sounding too harsh here. I feel like I can come across as sounding a little bit mean, but I really think that it's important to just be honest, to be blunt about things. So I hope you agree. Sometimes, I feel like I have the freedom to be honest with you guys, like my friends on the internet, but with my friends in real life, sometimes when I talk like this, they would get really mad at me and really hurt, even though they always come back in the end and they're like, Sabrina, you were right. I should have listened to you. And I'm like, Anyway, moving on. Number 5, he doesn't try to get to know you in a real way. Think about the questions he asks you. Does he ask you anything real? Anything aside from what are you wearing and want to hang out tonight? Does he really try to know you, your essence, who you really are? Does he ask questions? Does he ask follow-up questions? Does he try to connect with you? If the answer is no, then it's probably because he's just interested in hooking up with you and not much else. Number 6, he's still active on his dating apps. Now look, it's not realistic to expect a guy to delete all the apps after going on a few dates with him. But if you've been hanging out for a while, you've been hooking up for a while, and he's still very active on those apps, then it means he's still looking around, he's still scoping what's out there, and he does just enjoy hooking up with you in the meantime. Number 7, he doesn't share his true self with you. What do you know about this guy? What do you know about him that no one else knows? When a guy really likes a woman, he reveals himself to her. He shares his true self with her. He's not gonna let all his, skeletons out of the closet right away, but he will have some depth of connection with you. If you don't know anything real about him and he's holding himself back, it's because he isn't investing in you. I have a friend who was in a situation probably similar to what you're going through if you're watching this video, where, she'd been hanging out with this guy and they did go on a few actual dates, but then their relationship devolved into a sex-only type of relationship. And she was kind of confused because it did seem like he really liked her. And she would, tell me oh, he does talk. And I asked her, does he talk to you about anything real? She's like, oh yeah, he talks to me about his niece and his nephews and it's so sweet. And I think that shows me that he's really family oriented, and he showed me pictures of them and they're so important to him. And I'm like, okay, but one look at his social media and we saw, okay, there's pictures of him all over his social media. Anybody can know that he has a close relationship with them. What do you know about him that no one else knows, that you can't find on his LinkedIn or his Facebook or whatever? Does he share who he truly is with you? That is the question here. Number 8, he's unavailable, except when he wants to get his needs met. Anytime you want to hang out, he's busy, he's stressed, he has to work, he has to hang out with his mom, and he has to take care of his dog or whatever the case may be. But when he's horny and he wants to see you, then all of a sudden he has no plans and he, can be right over or have you drive to him. He basically does not go out of his way for you. He doesn't prioritize you. The only thing he prioritizes is having his needs met. And when you're able to give that to him, then you become a priority to him. Number 9, you don't know his people. He doesn't really introduce you to his friends. He doesn't really introduce you to his family. He just kind of keeps you in his back pocket. A back pocket relationship is basically when a guy just kind of keeps you to the side, keeps you away from everyone in his life. Maybe because he doesn't want to have to explain you. He doesn't want to have to explain oh yeah, this is just some girl that I'm hooking up with, but I don't really like her that much. Or he doesn't want his friends and family to meet yet another girlfriend. Or he doesn't want to introduce them to a girl unless he's serious about them. Whatever the case may be, he's not bringing you into his life in a significant way. Number 10, you feel it in your gut. Deep down, you already know the truth. If you have a feeling that a guy is just using you for sex, then he most likely is just using you for sex. The simplest explanation is usually the correct one. It doesn't usually go so deep. It doesn't usually have to be so complicated. And if you suspect that that's the case, then you need to decide what you want to do about it. Are you okay with having this friends with benefits type of situation? Or do you want something more? Do you like this guy? Do you want a relationship with him? If you do, then you could talk about it, see where that goes, or you can just walk away. And trust me, if he does really like you, he will follow you. And he won't just let you leave without a fight. So my advice, if you are in this situation and if you've watched this video and you have decided that your guy just wants to hook up with you and doesn't want anything else, and I just want to add here that, I mean, you can't really look at these points individually. You have to look at them as a whole. So anytime I do any of these listicle type of videos, you have to look at, does he do most of these things most of the time? Not like, oh, you know, he checks yes to 1 or 2 items on this list. So that's just how to know. So, okay, let's say you've deduced that he is just using you for sex. What do? Stop hooking up with him. I mean, if what you want is a relationship, stop hooking up with him, stop the sex, and see what happens. If he really likes you, he will step up his game. And it's possible he does really like you, but maybe he just got comfortable in this hookup only type of relationship and that's what happened. But now that you've taken that away, now he needs to really step up and put in some effort. If you don't hear from him once the sex stops, then that tells you everything you need to know and it's best to just move on. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope it gave you clarity. I hope it wasn't too mean. I hope that you got just the right dose of honesty to make the right decision. I would love to hear your thoughts, your feedback, your questions. Leave them below in the comment section. I read them all. I try to respond to everyone. And if you want to know exactly what it takes to make a guy not only want you, but want to commit himself to you, then you definitely should check out our Make Him Want You Bad system. You can get it at makehimcraveyou.com. Make sure to give this video a like, follow me on Instagram @anewmode, and I will see you in the next video.